This pistol has a set of high-vis fast dot sights on them. Now, we know that when it comes to defensive shooting, the marksmanship problem usually isn't going to be that much of a challenge. We don't need a set of target sights or micro adjustments to be made to be able to get the hits that we usually will need to get if we're trying to defend ourselves or others when we need to. When we think about hitting a chest at 10 to 15 feet, most people are going to do that with kinesthetic alignment. Consistent grip on the gun, consistent positioning in parallel with line of sight, decent trigger press, we're going to get those hits. But if the level of precision goes higher than that, then we're probably going to need a visual reference to the alignment of the gun. Usually that's going to be a notch and blade rear sight, or more recently, a lot of people are putting red dot sights on their pistol. We've talked about red dot sights, their potential advantages in defensive shooting situations, but also the costs that come with them, and costs in terms of modifying the gun and things like that. Hi-Vis is now offering the fast dot as a solution that lands somewhere between a traditional notch and blade sight setup and a red dot being added to your defensive pistol. As you can see, these are set up just like regular sights, so we're using the dovetail, and in this case, we're using the screw attachment for the Glock style firearm. The sights should be available for dovetail front and rear for popular pistols by the time you're seeing this video. And I want to talk to you about exactly what's happening here. What's happening is Hi-Vis is taking their light tube technology, the fiber optic technology, no batteries involved here, and giving you a stop and a go. So basically, when I drive this gun out in parallel with my line of sight, if I can see the red circle of the front sight, that's telling me stop. The gun is not aligned with where I'm looking. If, however, I see the green light of the rear sight right in my eyes, or one eye, whichever one happens to be behind the gun, more likely, then I know that I am a go. I am aligned with my line of sight, and I can superimpose that green circle over the target to get the hit I need to get. Now, there's always going to be a compromise between the percentage of shots we're going to be able to make at a very high level of precision and the speed with which we can align at a lower level of precision. This is definitely on the speedier end of the visually referenced aiming solutions. Now, there's a lens back here that makes sure that I can only really see a bright green with the light that's collected by the fiber optic. And this does work in low light. Of course, I'm out in the sun today, so it's going to be very bright. If I can see the green, that means the lens is directly in front of my eye. If the gun is misaligned, I won't see the bright green. And again, I'll see that red. So I'm getting actually two different ways to know whether or not I'm aligned. If I see the red, I'm not aligned. If I don't see the green, I'm not aligned. Let's take a look and see how it works. So I've got one of our balance of speed and precision targets set up here. I'll put my eye protection on. And we're going to do just kind of our standard drive out and hit the chest. So again, kinesthetic alignment, not really worried about visual reference, just to confirm that this isn't getting in the way of anything. Drive the gun out, and I get those hits. Now, I saw a little red when I first came out there. I saw a flash of green or two while I was shooting in my field of vision, but it didn't distract me from just doing my normal kinesthetically aligned shooting. Let's say that I want to transition to a headshot. That's when I'd normally be looking for the sights. If I drive out, I have green means go, and can't get much better than that. We might also need to take a shot at a chest size target that's further away, significantly further away than a normal defensive shooting distance. So we've got a chest size plate. I think it's about a 12-inch plate set up at about 20 yards. And let's see how the fast dot does there. I drive out, I look for the green. And I got, what, 3 out of 5. And it looks like the shots went high. So let's talk about that. First of all, one of the things we need to know is that the vast majority of our defensive shooting situations are going to occur well within 20 yards. When I lined up on this chest, it just drove out kinesthetically to shoot. I had no problem whatsoever. Again, I'm not looking at the gun. We'll check the gun again to make sure that it's clear. I drive out, I'm not really looking at the gun. Right now, if I'm looking at the leaves over on the berm, I see red, I see green. I'm just kind of ignoring that, focused on what I'm focused on. That's how I got those first 3 hits on the chest, no problem. Transitioning to a headshot, now I'm trying to get rid of the red and I'm looking for the green. Now I've got the green, I take that shot, obviously no problem there. Going out to that further target, when I drive out, one of the things you have to remember is that if the target is bigger than your visual reference point, right? Now, this isn't as much the same with like a ring. If I'm looking at a ring and a red dot, I can put the target in the middle of the ring and I'm okay. But as I drive out here, I am covering about half of the size of that plate with the sights. Now, if I had something like the circles, the circles or the dots that you see out here on the front that just sit in a wedge, I'd be covering the whole thing up. I'd have no chance of getting a hit. But by covering it up, by being able to cover up the red with the green and then put it where I ended up holding it was low on that target. Once I held low, I got those 3 shots. You can see the first one hit pretty high. So my chances are that those misses went high. So figuring out the alignment on a set of sights and figuring out where your hold is, of course, is important. And if you think about holding low, if I had more of a 6 o'clock hold on that target, well, then I was getting those hits consistently. So understanding how your sights work and understanding what your sights are made for, of course, is part of being responsibly armed. When it comes to the fast dot high vid sights, obviously I'm just getting to know them, just checking them out. I think they do fit that middle ground, right? We're talking about, do I want to put a red dot on the gun? I don't know. I look at when I'd get an advantage from that. Is it faster? Well, it's not faster up close, but it is faster when it lets me shoot something I can't shoot further away. The fast dot is designed to be quicker in terms of acquisition. Ultimately, it still comes back down to knowing your sight, knowing what your sight picture is supposed to look like, and then having that good, smooth, fundamental trigger press behind it. For close quarters work, the fast dot seems like a good option for a defensive carry pistol.